Whoa, baby, another teardrop rolling down my face. You could hear a pin drop. Any room in this place. Hey, good morning, man. It's still morning here in Burger Glob, Yugoslavia. HFR from the floor. Missed trade. Canceled. Still. We're going to get to some other cancellations here in a second, Matt. But what do you say? Good morning.
Good morning, Bob. How are you?
I am fantastic. Should we start the show?
I'm thinking about, let's start with, I don't know if you saw this.
I did see this. And
if you saw this version of it, though, yeah.
There was John going on. He's all the way on the sideline there.
Yeah.
John. So they're for sure John.
Yeah.
And then he comes over to get into his face.
Yeah.
And bumps him. And so he gets pushed back. And then he just throws a straight right. I mean, that's a Tyson right, like unprovoked.
Yeah.
Not in a boxing ring. This is assault. I don't care what you tell me. That's assault.
Yeah. Right. Well, he was already in his face too and pushed him away. I mean, the whole thing, right? Old guy, young guy, Michigan State, little bro, big bro. I mean,
I love. Hold on. Let's start. Let's start the show. Immediately, it's Michigan State. No matter what. That's just
good attitude-wise during camp.
Right.
All right, we're hearing the audio. Turn it off. Turn it off. Damn it.
I turned it off.
Turn it off. All right, man. We said on the way in, I know this, but Russell Wilson didn't look very good last night. I didn't turn the game on until the fourth quarter, and I turned the game on and then fired up the Twitter feed, and it was on fire at how brutal this game was, dude. I mean, these Denver fans, you're paying $150 to sit down in the stadium, right?
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's fucking $12 beers and $15 hot dogs.
$20 beers. Yeah.
Right. They were leaving in droves even before the overtime.
And it wasn't even snowing in Denver. It wasn't even snowing. They couldn't blame it on the weather. It's still summer, you know.
So congratulations to Barry on here. That was one of the great shares last night, Matt. And speaking of shares, you didn't see this, Matt, but no. Canceled. Dr. McCullough, account suspended, and I saw someplace else saying he's permanently banned because he keeps sharing narratives that aren't particularly healthy for the stock price of Moderna. Matt, bring it up. Let's go right there. Let's talk to prices, because you can ban him, right? But we shared a stat, I believe, last week that less than 2% of people have taken the latest offering of the booster.
Yeah.
So it can't be good for the jab stocks.
Yeah, well, maybe that's why it's down 3 and the whole market's down today, but maybe it's another reason why Moderna is down again today. But again, we bottomed last week. We talked about this last week, and then we rallied with the rest of the market up here, 114 to 128, and are rolling back over again, 120 and change here today, down another $4, almost $5. Moderna. We didn't look at Pfizer also, and again, not a lot happening here. Down 72 cents, 42.37. Again, this one's just been leaking. We talked about this last time. This hasn't looked healthy in a while, and this is continuing to make new fresh lows that we haven't seen since the 40 strike was seen off the initial move here to 51. So, I mean, looks like we're going to at least come back and trade that. And to me, it looks like we want to trade back to the Galaga.
I mean, honestly, look at that's a perfect Galaga, and it's thick, it's meaty, and once you're back into that, there's no reason why you can't cover 80% of that value range.
And there's no reason lawsuits can't come and hammer the stock more.
Yeah,
So,
they can.
even though they've been indemnified, there's no reason that they will be sued. So,
Bada bingo. Cancel all you want, Twitter.
I'm sure
surprised we haven't
if
been
I were
touched.
Peter McCullough, I would have. He's probably got a case.
You shared this in the network. Fist bumps, baby. You don't want to shake my hand. That's
Hey,
fine.
nobody messes with the nobody messes with the Bidens.
No, he said nobody fucks with the Bidens. Let's say
No.
say it how he said it. A hot mic. Hot mic. All right, I never rang it. Now I'm going to ring it 10
No,
times.
no. Don't ring it, because we can talk a little bit about how great that fist bump is doing today. And let's talk a little crude oil again.
Let's talk crude.
Well, we've been talking about it, that the buying opportunity was there down in the 70s, 76, 77, right? And by all means today, Bob, by all means, please, if you have not taken some profits, please take some profits. Ring that bell, mother effer.
Yeah. Again, 3 times. It's been on my desk for 2 months. I forgot it every episode for 2 months.
Because we traded 76.26, and today, thanks to the fine work that by the way, do your liberal associates also think that this is, I don't know, is this because of Orange Man, the reason why oil continues to go up? Like, what are they saying?
You know what?
Like, what are they saying about like, seriously?
No, I don't speak economics with people that don't understand economics.
Right. Anyways,
it's pretty simple.
We're back
Trade
to
the chart that's in front of you. Let's save the climate. Okay, but let's make money so I can enjoy myself at the barbecue on the way. All right, man, we got a lot more to get to. We talked crude. Let me share something else.
I mean, again, this is a 20% move, Bob. This is over a 20% move in, this, the 26th of September was the low. So that's a large move, 20%.
Right here, and for sure, pretty clean. Now, if you want to jump back to that, let me just point something out.
Yep.
Because this is clean now. This is clean. All right, that is a giant profile.
Yep.
And you really should see the price action if you're going to continue to talk a bullish story. You'd love to see it
come back
consolidate above that high of value if possible.
Yeah.
I mean, love to, if it's going to trade sideways on that time frame, trade sideways and make that ceiling become the floor.
Right.
Make that ceiling become the floor again, and then you're going to redistribute that same width, which is what? I can't make it out. What's the width of that profile in that particular value?
$10.
All right, so bingo, back up to 103.
Yeah, well, it's 80. Yeah, right now, it's 81 to 91. So yeah, once we go over 893 again, it should portend to show another 103. That makes sense. Yeah.
Bingo. Symmetrical. Lovely.
Yeah. And again, longer time frames, you got a lot of room. You could climb back, but let's get to 100 first. Let's talk maybe 101 and somewhere in that area, if they can get there.
All right, Matt. Next on the agenda, after this beautiful fist bump, I want to share this, and then I'm going to share. And I was watching a documentary that my brother shared with me, and it was this one. Hold on a second. Did I share? I didn't share yet. There we go. Sharing. It was about it's called Down from the Mountain, Matt, and it's a documentary. I don't know when it was made, but it's all about the concert that they put together of all the artists that went into Oh Brother from Where Art Thou, right? Great bluegrass. And in the middle of this documentary here at this 2720 point, this country singer, this woman hears a beep and she goes, oh my God. And she runs over and pulls out of her purse Sports Track. And she goes, oh shit, Milwaukee just scored, or Milwaukee just put a man on second. Like, she's a junkie sports baseball fan. Motorola had this offering. She's like, it's got every game. You can see what's going on in every game. And it's just so funny to see. And I know you shared in the network that baseball attendance is still way off from pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So I asked you, did you have the Sports Track?
I didn't have that. I had a Motorola pager that did have a service that did feed you the scores as games went on, and it would, you could set it to vibrate, and if you had whatever, your team was Michigan and you wanted to know how they were doing. Well, back in the 90s, not every game was on TV, so it actually was kind of helpful.
Right.
I mean, nowadays
All right.
you can watch
Then
every.
I got to share this.
Okay.
I got to share this. Little play act, little Walter Payton, September 18th, 1983. Look at this throw. He just chucks it into double coverage, throws it 50 yards.
What was it? Willie Galt sprinting down there.
Willie Galt. But this is the more impressive one. A 40-yard, look at him surveying it, a 40-yard rope. I got to tell you something. When I saw that,
same game, was that the same game? Wow.
Yeah, two TD passes in one game.
That's back. Yeah.
When I saw that, Matt, I like his arm was way better than Joe Montana's. Like Joe Montana did not have that 40-yard rope pass.
No.
He just didn't. There's no
good.
chance he had it.
It was not that good.
All right, Matt. Speaking of sweetness, I got to jump down here to this. This is all my feeds to this little. The chess world is upside down. Is now vibrators in the ass is the way that they're cheating now. I mean, vibrators. He's got this. I don't know. I don't know why I wanted to go there and share that, but the world of cheating has gone anal. I don't know.
God.
That's all I got to say about that. We have no price discovery on that, by the way. It is what it is. All right, Matt. Speaking of, let's go here first, and then Lee. How many dates are you going to make next year, Lee? The final tour. Dead and Company. I don't know. Does that have any? Are there any dead members left? I know you shared this. I know you shared this with a wink at Lee. Looks like a handful. 2, 4, 6, 8. I don't know. 30 dates, right?
Yeah.
More.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 27. It looks like. Yeah.
Beautiful. Looks
like they're starting in California and ending in California. But what the hell? They just Detroit doesn't exist anymore. You're not going to Motor City.
That's terrible. That is terrible because there's a lot of deadheads in Southwest Michigan or Southeast Michigan.
Yeah.
All right, Matt. Speaking of weed, this was shared by Breaking 911, and this was yesterday, the 6th. Breaking: Nancy Pelosi purchased 10 million shares of weed 4 days ago. So, Matt. You want me to go to the chart? I could go to the chart, or you could go to the chart. The weed.
I can go to. You want to look at canopies, or you want to look?
Yeah, weed. Let's look at weed, and because it's nuanced when you're a cheater, right?
Yeah. So
the second.
You're saying she bought here?
That's what they're saying. That she bought on the 2nd.
Well, the 2nd is a weekend, so I don't even know how she could have done that. But
how about Friday? What's last Friday?
30th, right in here, the 30th, closed down here at like 276. So,
all right, so she had room.
Yeah,
but the point is, today's action, Biden rightfully and about time has pardoned marijuana possession.
Is going to. He's talking about it. He hasn't done it yet, right?
No, I thought he wrote the pardon. I thought I saw that he has the authority to do that.
We talked about the headline yesterday, and
but if you didn't capture this after hours trading, like you missed it.
Well,
amazing.
Yeah, and if you bought it at 390, you're now down 25% on your money.
So if Nancy didn't have her orders resting, she's only got a double bagger here.
Well, but even if you said how many shares did she buy?
10 million. That's what I'm the messenger here. Like, don't kill the messenger. That's what 911 is saying.
So she dropped a $20 million trade, is what you're saying. And then obviously when this thing, let's just say she got out at pre-market at 370. So she made 20. You're telling me she made 10 million.
Again, don't hold me to the facts on the ground.
He's amazing. The best trader I've ever seen.
That
Best
is
trader.
a fantastic trade. Listen, Uncle Joe is going to pardon everybody. And the weed threads now are through the roof because and I know that, yeah, maybe it should be legal, but high use cannabis is not got a good long-term prognosis. So say whatever, especially kids. Like we got into the kids, our parents booze, but getting high every day. Wow. As a kid, that's going to change some things neurologically. Anyway, I wanted to bring that up in the crazy mixed up world that we live in. That there's great trades to be had if you got inside. In fact, inside information has always been the best trading methodology out there.
Well, again, apparently, if your name's Nancy Pelosi or Kim Kardashian, you're fine. You can do this at will, and nobody cares. But interestingly enough, I mean, gosh, Canopy was all the way down to $2 in July. It rallied. I just wanted to point this out. It rallied to 430, just above 420, and this little action didn't even get us to that high again. So, I guess your point is, so what, right? That's kind of what you're saying. It's still there.
Well, yeah. I mean, the inside information is great, and if she didn't have resting orders to capture on the news, she's an idiot, right?
Right.
Because again, the long-term trajectory of pot stocks for me, and I said it whenever we started this. We talked about pot stocks whenever we started this 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like until they find an industrial, like I think hemp is a better story, and we're going to talk about cotton. But until there's an industrial use for the commodity, like the weed side of it it's over. It's too easy to grow volume for the amount that's consumed.
Yeah.
My thoughts were my thoughts back then, and those are still my thoughts. Matt, we talk a lot about whatever narrative you want to champion, that's great. But this was interesting because it goes along with the lines that investing money is really more important than your ideology, right? And this was from that Louisiana will divest all treasury funds from BlackRock, totaling $794 million, to remove by year's end. I don't care what you say. When you lose $800 million of money that you're managing, that's a big dent.
Well, and when you consider there's a lot bigger states that they probably represent pensions and unions and things like that, right? So there's probably the interesting thing. I think the interesting piece of that story is it's kind of a grassroots, no holds barred, and there's been other stories about this over the last couple of weeks. People are, there was another story about, again, a number of states that are suing because of this ESG stuff. They don't want their pensions tied up into, any of these social scores and these types of things. So activists,
nobody thought there would be activists that said, and they're not. Nobody's not. I know you and I are not anti a clean environment.
No,
but the hypocrisy of
nobody is. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It's and you immediately get painted in that picture if you say anything against their supposed narrative. It's ridiculous.
Well, like Peter McCullough, you get fired. We looked at this and BlackRock had a bounce like everything else until today, and now is rolling back over. It's down 3.5%, 3.3%, just like the market pretty much here. SPOs are down, or NASDAQ is down 3.5 right now as we speak. So, everything is getting bludgeoned on this jobs report. But yeah, I mean, if more people take, a trillion here, a trillion there, right? Billion, whatever it is. It was almost a billion. It starts adding up into their trillions that they have. And, they're still paying their 3.5% dividend, but the stock is.
Matt, you can get that with a 2-year.
Yeah, yes, you can. The 2-year right now, that since you brought that up, is 4.36. Matter of fact, 4.36. Still about a 50, 0.5% spread between the 2 and 10. Still inverted in a big way. And so that's really what this, the news today with the jobs, they were good, right? They were good jobs numbers. Well, that just means they got to raise more because the inflation is not going away if you need more people and you got to pay them more to work. That's just inflationary. So you have stagflation really ramping up, I think, is really what you're going to start seeing here.
Yeah, exactly. And let me share because I wanted to share this chart. To that point, directly to that point. Well, this is the weed chart. Let me just show you the weed chart on a weekly. It's getting to the point where if you were the first one in on this, you were in at around $2. And amazingly, amazingly.
I was looking at CGC, which is, you're looking at the Toronto exchange, but that's fine.
Okay, right on.
CGC.
Anyway.
CGC is the American version.
All right, so Matt, again, back to industrial hemp. It's big, tons of uses, and its big competitor is cotton. We've never talked cotton futures on this. I don't know anybody that trades cotton futures, but that's beside the point because it is a giant.
Paul Tudor Jones cut his teeth, but I don't think he is making his money today on cotton futures.
I mean, talk about a violent chart.
Yeah.
This thing was the COVID low somewhere around. Let's see here. COVID low was 48 cents. Went to $1.55.
Wow.
Plummeted down to 90 cents, had a hiccup back up to $1.20, and now 82 offered. Again, stagflation. I mean, this input cost looks like it's going to come down.
Yeah.
And that's fine. And I wanted to look at Levi's, but that chart looks equally as sick to me. You said Levi's, they're not publicly traded anymore. And again, this is another one like Playboy and like many others that you talk about that they take public and then or take private and then take public again. And people that what is that group of people called? Like there's people that buy companies and then just split them up and close them. The people that take things back public. I don't know what they are. They're sharks. They're sharks. They are, because it seems to work every time.
Yeah. So this came public, it looks like in March of 19 at where was it? Right here, about $22, and it's lost half or a third of its value from that price. Went to 9, went to 30, and now it's back at 14. Doesn't look healthy. I agree with you.
I mean, again, it's going to get really complicated.
I mean, I really can't believe that, and it trades. I mean, it trades 5.8 million shares a day. Average today, it's traded that much. So 2.5% dividend, a $5.7 billion market cap is boggling to me still. Like there's so many jeans companies, and I don't think Levi's are necessarily the biggest brand out there still, but people, I mean, I wear them, but I'm just old school, what am I?
Well, I mean, the interesting thing is, yeah, its biggest input cost, cotton, can come down, right? But if demand is crushed because of expenses everywhere else in your economic life, how is that good long term?
Well, here's a good, here's a good, I went to Sen last night, the local Thai place.
Yeah, right.
And, we've got the Bend Film Festival kicked off last night, right? So I figured, and I made the reservations Tuesday, I think. And I got in there, had a reservation, it was empty. I was shocked. But, and I've seen this in a few places now, like Thursday night, I would have thought everybody would have been out, but I think, again, $100, two person, Thai meal, I guess is probably, it's a lot of dough, right?
There, you know what, man, we just had this conversation on how the pricing is ridiculous, and you can still get good value buying your protein. And it's really gotten to the point where unless the service is exceptional, unless the food is remarkable, the price that you're paying now for an average restaurant meal is ridiculous compared to what you can now, since if you've been under my tutelage. The fact that you can cook at home so much better, right? Have way better value and have way better a better meal. I mean, that's what it's coming down to. It's not. It's like you're going out and you're paying more for way less.
Not only that, I just kind of felt and I felt like the servers don't want to be there, and you know, it's just like the whole thing. I'm like, what?
Everybody's got an attitude now too. Everybody.
Yeah.
That's thank you, social media, for making everybody a cocksucker, including myself. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Yeah, so I don't know. Levi's again, you know, coming back to that input cost, but it just looks. I mean, it looks like it's going to trade to 12 at least, and probably back to that low $9. Not a pretty story. I mean, I don't see any retail looking pretty here over the next few years. And again, these jobs numbers were great, but your input cost to get to work, and because you're paying $8 a gallon in San Diego and you're paying $7 in San Francisco, and you got to go back to work like we talked about yesterday. I mean, some people are looking at $100 daily commutes just to go, 40, 50 miles one way, each way. That's you're again, do the math on it. You're paying almost $100 just to load up.
All right, Matt, let me just share this from a standard deviation basis. That is a giant rejection of that momentum level, which was right up there at that 3,800 level. I know you had it also on the profile. But this is a brutal looking chart to me on a standard deviation modeling. It's falling away potential again to the downside. And this day is not over yet. And I'm not ruling out the possibility that we could go close this thing more like at 3620.
Well,
believe me, if you want
to, I said 3650 is a really important level, and we got down to 54 here this morning. So just a minute, 5 minutes ago, and it bounced 10 points. So there's still a lot of time left, but we're still trending lower, and I don't,
it's a brutal chart. And
they're not. I mean, these are not looking pretty right now.
Just wanted to share that, and then I wanted to share
what I'm going to do, since instead of bringing up that S&P, what I'm going to do is bring you up a name in the S&P that I was looking at. Actually, somebody asked.
Oh, that's right, exactly. Thank you for remembering it.
So this is an S&P name, 3M, right? Minnesota based. Somebody was asking me, hey, what's going on with the chart, and I hadn't looked at it. I haven't looked at this chart in ages. And the interesting thing, we bottomed in 2009 when the market bottomed, $40, and this high February or January of 18, right? So this was well before COVID. This is interesting, all the way from 40 to 270. Now, this is a consumer products company, paper, industrial conglomerate, right? They do it all. They make Post-it notes. They make all kinds of shit. Fat dividend, 5.4%. That's large. Again, this company makes money. They make it and they distribute. And 61 billion market cap here. That means, Bob, this was what, 2.5 times that. So this was, 100 and probably close to two. Well, what would that be? 120, 150. It's probably like 150 billion. So went from 150 down to 61 billion here. And looks to me, well, here's what I see. I have two legs, and this is a weekly chart again. So the high to low here, 261 to 115, is about 140 points. 140 from here gets you all the way down to about that $80 level. So again, and that happens to be the point of control also. So
Matt, it doesn't just happen to be. Actually, let me rephrase that. When things like that happen, when there's a double, that's a synergy. When two things line up, man, you better pay attention to that.
Yeah,
you got to pay attention to that.
So although it's oversold, et cetera, all these things, there's as you can see, there's nothing to keep this thing from floating right down into where the hand, where the real holdall hands are. These are the strong hands. Those are your diamond holders down there at 80. If you want to shake them out, that's a whole nother story. But it looks like it's going to go down and trade those prices. That's for the last 20 years, that's the most held price. So why wouldn't these people that were, that maybe bought at 40 and they didn't sell at 260? It's still, they're still looking at almost a triple here. So maybe book in some of those profits if you didn't do it 4 years ago, because it looks like it's got lower to go to me, Bob.
Beautiful. And again, if you can pick that thing up down there, all of a sudden that
dividend's only going to probably be 7-8 by the time,
exactly.
By the time we get down there.
Exactly. All right, listen, Matt. Before we go,
well, we have
know.
We have football games.
Yes, before we go, we need to know. That's what. And let me bring it back up in. How many of the undies are you keying on? These are the undefeated teams for tomorrow. Tonight.
Yeah. Well, actually, I have. We talked about it the other day. I have. You know what? I have 8 games that I kind of like. And so
I love it.
You're gonna have to love it. You're gonna have to whittle it down if that's too many games for you. But I like Maryland over Purdue -3.
Purdue, shocked everybody by spanking Minnesota last week.
They did, and I'm still contending that Maryland's a decent team, and they beat Michigan State at Michigan State handily, and I think they're gonna be at home and handle Purdue.
Probably a homecoming.
Yep, probably. TCU and Kansas. Okay, so there's 2 of our names right here. TCU and Kansas. These are playing on tomorrow, and I'm going with the Christians, TCU, Texas Christian, over Kansas. I think it's at TCU. It might be at Kansas, but -6.5. Give the points, TCU. And then I got another one here from this list going down, and I like LSU +3 over Tennessee, hosting the Volunteers in the Bayou. So I like that game. And then
in the swamp.
In the Bayou.
And it is still swampy time of year, by the way.
And then you got the Red River game. You got Texas, Oklahoma tomorrow. Okay. And Oklahoma is bad. They're so bad. And the line opened at 3. It moved to -9 for Texas. I'd love to take Texas. They're going to demolish. Oklahoma. And then another one here, UCLA. UCLA's, again, they're going to have 41,000 fans at the Rose Bowl tomorrow. And they're hosting Utah. And Utah is favored because there's nobody at the game. But I'm going to say not so fast. Take the Bruins, Chip Kelly. They're going to stay undefeated one more week at least. Let's see if they can do it. Utah's had their number for the last 2 decades. Let's see if UCLA can win one for the 41,000 home fans and the 110,000 Pasadena Rose Bowl. And then I like, not on this board, but I love this ACC matchup. UNC playing at Miami. Miami sucks. They're horrible. 2-2. UNC is the underdog at 4-1 +3.5. So take UNC with the points to upset technically Miami. And then I like another undefeated here, or was undefeated last week, but they lost last week, and that was Kentucky. Kentucky at home hosting the Gamecocks of South Carolina tomorrow, -6.5. I like that game. And then finally, for all the locals here on the West Coast, Quack is playing the Wildcats down in Tempe, down in Tucson. So it's Arizona is hosting Quack, the late night game tomorrow. You know what? If you've had a good day, let it all ride on the Ducks. They're going to cover that 13-point spread against the Zona.
The hapless Arizona. Hapless.
Yep, the
hapless.
Yes.
Hapless. All right, man.
And then as far as Sunday goes, there was two games. The Bills were -14, so take the Bills. And the other one on the double digit games. Let's see. The Bills, and I thought there was another one. Yeah. Oh, and you got to go with Tommy Brady because the poor kid needs some love. I mean,
dude, it's the greatest negotiation ever. She's worth way more than he is. She's worth. Who are they playing? Who are the Bucks playing? And how many are they given?
They're given 10, so you got to take them. And they are playing. Who are they playing? They're hosting Atlanta. hosting Atlanta. 2-2 Buccaneers versus the 2-2 Falcons.
I gotta tell you, the game last night. Let's go back to that. I saw an interview with Brady yesterday where they asked him about parity in the league.
Yeah.
Right. And he said, he kind of shrugged. It's like, there's just a lot of really bad football. I mean, he said it yesterday.
Yeah.
There's so much terrible football. Like maybe they needed that extra preseason game. Like, I don't know, but there is some terrible football being played.
There is
God awful. And then last night's game, it was like, it was actually a punishment to watch just one quarter of it. And that's why when I turned on the game and people were leaving, they're like 6 field goals and then a 7th to win it. And Denver gave the game away twice. They could have ran the ball and kicked the field goal with 2 minutes to go up 6. Instead, Russell Wilson throws a pick in the end zone. All right. Wait a second. It gets better. Overtime, the Colts come down, kick a field goal. The Denver gets the ball for their possession. They come all the way down to the 6-yard line. It's 4th and 1. Instead of kicking the field goal and tying the game and letting it go, they go for it and he doesn't throw a pick, but they lose the game on 4th and 1. And Richard Sherman was out of his mind in the post game, out of his mind, and mostly because you could say it's bad football. Maybe, just maybe, there was some really good defense being played, and I think that's what he's like. If you bust your ass in an NFL game, right, and the coach just gives the game away after you shut down a team,
that's not good.
It's not good, man. He's like, in the locker room, they are furious right now. The defense is furious that you just gave the game away.
And
anyway.
Sherman is playing for Denver now?
No, Sherman is not playing at all. He was
in the booth?
He's an analyst with Amazon, probably making.
Okay.
Yeah, he's probably making, and he was great, man. He was livid and you know, that he was absolutely out of his mind, and that's what you want to see in a broadcaster. Like, what are you? Run the goddamn ball if you're gonna go for it.
Right.
Oh, it's great. Anyway, that's what we got. Hey, listen, have a great weekend, Matt. Have a great weekend, everybody out there. Please do yourself a favor, cook someone a meal when you're watching all these games. And for God's sakes, buy some Shrimp Mojo. Matt, I saw a share today of Slap Your Mama Cajun Rub, and I got nothing against it. It's good stuff. The difference between that and the Shrimp Mojo is Slap Your Mama is about 90% salt. So you're paying way more than you should for salt. All right, that's all I'm saying. They're making a lot more profit because they're selling salt.
Well, maybe the salt input is way up. Do you have a salt chart?
You know, nobody trades salt. They used to be the greatest traded commodity on the planet. Anyway, that's what we got. Thank you so much. Please share, retweet, plagiarize far and wide. Matt, who do you like? Notre Dame, BYU?
I was looking at that. It's at BYU. Notre Dame's favored. You got to take BYU. Notre Dame sucks.
I think you got it too. I agree, 100%.
They're going to go to 2-3.
Bingo. There you go, Lee.
Yeah, yeah. I saw that one. I was almost going to put that on my list, but it was just getting long already. I could probably come up with another 3 or 4.
All right, that's what we got. The betting side of the broadcast. Thank you, Lee.
Hopefully you're 6-2 in that list. 6-2.
That's what we're looking for. That's what we shoot for.
6-2. You have yourself a nice little weekend.
All right. All right, Matt.
Then you can lay that money on the NFL and lose it all. And then you can just call it a weekend like nothing happened.
All right. That's it. Thank you. Thank you, Lee.